How's this? This should be much better. I had myself muted. I hope everyone's okay today. Good morning. Can you hear me now? Now I sound like an old Sprint commercial. If you had Sprint, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I was listening to, first of all, good morning, everyone. And let me just greet everyone first, and then we'll get on with this really quickly. Let's see who's here. Let's see. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Marie. Good morning. Let's see who else. Liz, Paulman. Good morning. Paige. Good morning. Big wave, Paige. Let's see who's here. Good morning, Heather. Good morning, Facebook user. I don't know who you are, and I don't have another screen to look, so I don't know who you are. Good morning, Audrey. Let's see what's another Facebook user. Good morning, and let's see what we have. That's basically it. Everyone else is Facebook user. So guys, put your name in the comment, or let StreamYard have permission to put your name up. Thank you, Chris. You were reading my mind. Here's the link. Go there. Let StreamYard say, hey, you have permission? And then let them, that way I'll know who you are, because I see a whole bunch of Facebook users. I don't think it's the same person. Anthony, good morning. Hi, Facebook user who just said hi. So I don't want to abbreviate it and say, hi, F you, because that doesn't sound good. So good morning, Facebook user. I wonder if that was intentional on Facebook's part, or StreamYard's part, calling them Facebook users. How's everyone doing today? It is an awesome, beautiful, sunny day here. Hello, Renee. Welcome. It might be Renee. Hello, Renee. Good morning, Renee Penn. Hi, Renee. It's a beautiful day here in New York City. We have, the weather's like amazing. I was walking the coach earlier. Let's see what we're at. We are at, it was some wonderful weather. I walked earlier, and when I did my first walk of the day, it was 66 degrees, and that was around 3:45 this morning. Right now it's 83 degrees, so you can officially say summer is here, which is awesome. It's really warm out, so it's great. Let me say hello to everybody on YouTube. Hello, everyone on YouTube. Yeah, Pleasant 81. 81 is nice. I like 83. I'll take 83. Hi from Stacy Stein. Hello, Stacy. Welcome. I like 83, 80s. It's good. Once it starts hitting the 90s, my body starts not liking it so much, and I start sweating like crazy. So you can imagine how wonderful. I mean, put it like this: I wear shorts throughout the winter. That's how hot my body runs. So you can imagine how much fun the summer is for me. And I love the beach, but my body is like inferno squared. It's just I'm always hot, which really freaks the tribe out, because they're like, "How can you wear shorts? It's like 30 degrees." Like, I don't feel it. Are you cold? So they give me grief for it. So let's give out the shout outs to everyone, because there's a bunch of us here already. Yeah, the beard is thank you, Marie. The beard is doing well. I didn't trim it. I just kind of had the barber kind of cut just like all the stragglies, but it was good. Well, I'm sorry to hear thunderstorms. Be careful, Marie, Audrey. You know. Coming in hot, but for the 100th mom, can we have M&S Baby? Muppet Babies, yeah, M&S Baby merch. I don't know about that. Yeah, I'm always hot, and Dolly's usually the one that's always cold. So that always makes for interesting interactions when I get icy feet on my legs, for sure. But Renee, yeah, just type your name in, and if you say something, Renee, and then at the end just say Renee, and then I'll know it's you. So I know. Dolly has the same thing with the StreamYard. Like, she'll be typing it in, and she'll be ready to give permissions, and they still don't let her put her name. They don't put her name in there. So, all right, let's say shout outs to everyone. So, shout outs to everyone on YouTube. Shout out to everyone on Facebook, obviously. Shout outs on YouTube. If you need to find us, you can find us at Bitten Peaches Publishing or Storyteller. But we're there. Just check out the channel. We're there. I can remove the banner. Yes, I can. Thanks, Chris. No, it'd be up there the whole show. All right, banners off. So you can find us at Bitten Peaches Publishing. We're there. Just you can like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and that way you'll know when if you can't get on Facebook, you can always get the notification from when we're on YouTube. So that's our YouTube. On Instagram, I haven't posted anything on Instagram because I've been crazy busy and I'm restructuring. I'll get into it a little later, but I'm restructuring a few things. But I'll be putting up some stuff on Instagram this coming month. I just got to make the time slot for it. But we're at Bin Peaches on Instagram. So go to Instagram, look up Bin Peaches or at Bin Peaches, and you'll find excerpts from the books. There's a bunch of excerpts there on interesting backgrounds and things like that. And it's usually a few lines from the books or a line from the book or something from one of the books. And there's a lot of books. So yeah, you can find us there. Zazzle, Dolly's still got to make my hat. So if you're watching this, Dolly, because I'm flying solo today, Dolly's not here. She's with Z. I'm waiting for my new M&S hat. This is part of our swag. So, but go to Zazzle, go EMANDES, M&S, and you go get your swag because we have a lot of swag there. So that's the place to go. Find some swag, and I saw show on Google with all the links. That's awesome. That's good SEO right there. I think that's years and years of doing it, Chris, because there was another Orlando Sanchez, but sadly he passed away. He was a Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy, and he sadly passed away recently, actually, not too long ago. So he and I were kind of competing for attention. Good morning, Wendy. Welcome. On Patreon, I don't know if we have new patrons because I didn't check with Dolly, but if we do, I'll welcome them later on. I just want to say thank you to all the patrons that currently support us, and you guys are amazing. I'm currently working. Well, I will be working on the new story, which is Peanut 2, but it's Peanut TOO, not TWO, and that'll be a lot of fun. So and Peanut is in Archmage, but not really yet involved in the story. But she's badass. I just gotta say that. Okay, she's a lot of fun to write. Peach, I can't. So what I'm looking forward to is doing something like Peanut, Cece, Peaches, and Frank go out on a mission because it's gonna be incredible. Just like the Brew and Chew plus Peanut, like have Peanut join the Brew and Chew. That will be fun. So that's a new idea that might be coming up soon with the next Brew and Chew story. Okay, we'll get to the stories that are happening. Don't worry. So the e-newsletter. So there's a pause on newsletters right now because this is part of the infrastructure stuff that I'm doing. I'm doing a whole thing with changing email providers, and there's a whole thing that I'm going to be adding to the back of the book, and there's a lot of work there. So there's a lot of kind of like upheaval. And so I'm not doing newsletters, I think, for another few months because I got to make sure that all that infrastructure stuff is done. And then there's going to be a lot of, you'll know, because I'll be putting it up in the MoB, and there'll be a lot of stuff going on, a lot of activity with the email and newsletters, and the format's going to change a lot, and so you'll find out. But yeah, so the newsletter, if you haven't gotten anything, don't worry. You'll be getting stuff, and there's going to be a lot of bonus content that's only going to be in the newsletters. And so, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, but it's a lot of front-loaded work. So huge thanks to John Logsdon, who's pushing me in this direction, in the best way possible. So yeah, but that's basically what I'm in the middle of with an email newsletter and that aspect of the business side of being an author, which if you're writing and you're an author, you gotta focus on, okay? It's one of the hats you have to wear. BookBub, I'm on BookBub, so just follow me on BookBub. You can look me up and follow me on BookBub and then leave, a review. You liked it, the story was good, the story could have been better, write longer, write faster, what's going on, things like that. But I'm on BookBub, and I'm also on Binge Books. So join, same thing, Binge Books is free to join. So join Binge Books, and then you follow me and you leave social proof, and it just makes it more visible. It makes the books more visible. Let's see. Hi, Mary Beth, welcome. Let's see. Yeah, you can't drink coffee until you get your mug. It's gonna take a while to get to, I think, Marie. Let's see. Writing the books is just a small part behind the scenes. It's beyond immense. So in addition to everything that I'm going to do currently with what I'm going to do with the email and kind of integrating this whole new process, I still have to write. I'm still writing them. So currently I'm working on Daystrider, which is the Iker short story, which is a lot of fun actually. And that's actually not bad because it's only about 10 to 12K. That's going to be the cutoff. Then I go to the third story, and then I'm going to pause it. And then there's a break. The third story is called Nightwalkers. So this is called Daystrider. Nightwalkers is a theme here, right? So I write Daystrider, and that's about 500 words because it's so short. And then I jump into Archmage, which is almost 3K a day, and that's a little different. So yeah, but that's coming along. It's going in interesting directions. And on the side, not with any deadlines, I'm working on The Stray Dogs, which is the Treadwell Supernatural directive. That one is going in an interesting direction. Maybe I'll put up a snippet of that this week because I have enough. I have a few chapters already. I think I'll put a snippet of that up today of the Treadwell Supernatural directive, The Stray Dogs. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Marie, you are far, far away from wherever Zazzle ships, and so that's why it's taking so long. So I hope it gets there okay. Yeah, Audrey, I totally relate. Like working for yourself is a lot of work, but I've been working. I've had my own businesses since I was about, I want to say 20, 21, 22. So I've had sign businesses, I've had graphic design businesses. I had a dojo for over a decade. It was like 12 years we had the dojo. And so this is just a natural progression for me, like just doing this, you know? So yeah. And yes, Anthony, I agree. All authors need a dolly for behind the scenes, for sure, because she makes it possible for me to do, like, I can sit here and I'll forget about eating, I'll forget about picking up the kids, I'll forget about everything. And she's like, hey, are you gonna eat lunch today? It's like, yeah. Oh, now that you mention it, I'm a little hungry. Sure. And so bring me like an awesome sandwich or, you know, yesterday's like dinner, but warmed up. And oh my God, it's awesome. So yeah, so she makes it possible for me to do what I'm doing. And, you know, she, behind the scenes, she keeps things going. So now with this infrastructure stuff, it's the email, it's tied into bonus content, it's tied into the website that's new. So there's a lot of linking, there's a lot of testing. I'll put it like this, it won't be fully done for about 6 months to a year and a half when it's finally done. So it's a long process, but it's worth it, you know? Genius idea, dating site for authors who need support of a significant other. We could call it the heart is mightier than the pen. Yeah, the problem with that, Anthony, is that most authors that I know that aren't in a steady relationship are very introverted. They won't even go on the dating site, much less open up to something like, I'm looking for someone to support me as I write. Most authors won't do that. And that kind of really happens. It's interesting how it happens because a lot of the couples that I know, let's see, Jonathan and Jennifer Yanez, Stephanie Fox and Alex Steele, there are a few others, John Logson and his wife. Yeah, there are a few where it happened organically. It didn't really happen like they met with the premise of one of them was going to be an author and then the other one was going to support. It just kind of happened to, you know, one started writing and the other one started to be like just being the support so that the writing would get done. From the times that I've seen it, it's been that way. But, you know, that's a great idea. You should start it, Anthony. Start the heart is mightier than the pen. Marie, I don't know if the mob is angry, but what I've really liked recently, yeah, and that's it, Chris. It's called having a good marriage. I mean, Dahlia and I are in many respects, it's called being, you know, having a partnership, right? So she knows I'll do the writing, and she'll do some editing. She'll do some anything that's infrastructure stuff with the writing. She does the audiobooks. She's like checking numbers. She does a lot of stuff that I don't have to do, so I can do the writing. So it kind of frees me up to do the things that I need to do, you know? So yeah, it's really, really important to have someone on your side, by your side, and behind you as well to kind of push you when it's like, you need to get some writing done kind of thing, you know? So yeah, it's really, really important. If you're an author, from what I understand, every author who has been very successful in life, in their authorship, I guess, in their career, has someone beside them. Like I keep going back to Stephen King, who you never know about if it wasn't for his wife who pulled Carrie out of the trash because he wrote the first, I guess he wrote the first few chapters of Carrie, which was his first book that became published. So he wrote Carrie. He said it was horrible, and we're the worst judges of our own work, right? He said it was horrible. This is crap. He threw it in the trash. She fished it out of the trash, read it, and said, you know what? You need to finish this. You need to continue this. And then now you have a Stephen King, like he's a household name. If it wasn't for his wife, you know. And I'm sure that story repeats itself over and over and over with the authors that we all know, read, and love. Behind every one of those authors is someone telling them, you got this, you can do this. Hey, I really love that story. Go for it. Hey, I'd like to know more about this one. Let's get it done, So it's important. It really is. Exactly, yeah. Robert and Virginia Heinlein. Let's see. There are a few. There are quite a few that are. I don't know if J.R.R. Tolkien's wife had anything to do with his writing, or with Terry Pratchett. Rihanna came along much later, so I don't know if his wife, if Sir Terry's wife, but she was with him and she lived with him, and she was able to deal with Sir Terry's mind, and that had to be a huge benefit for him, because when you have writers that are that masterful, they're going to be a little odd in their life. It's just part of the plan. It's just part of the situation. So, and I haven't read this yet because I'm reading his autobiography. Well, not his autobiography, but his biography. But I haven't heard about what his relationship was with his wife. But I'm sure she encouraged his kind of offbeatness or his weirdness, because if she were tearing him down, how could he write the stories that he wrote? You know what I mean? That kind of has to happen in a certain environment. So, yeah, R.L. King, yes, also. So, yeah, it's a matter of it's teams. Even though there's a name that goes on the cover, behind every author name, there's a group of people, there's a large group of people, that make those stories possible, that really do. I mean, speaking for me, in my personal experience, right? Besides Dolly and my little ones, the tribe, the whole tribe, but the little ones are like, when are you gonna write the next story? Things like that. I got the MoB, which is like a huge family behind me, that push me and spur me on and like, come on, you gotta do this. Let's see, I got my designers, the cover designers, who I speak to extensively, and we kind of hash out, we get these ideas happening. There's a large group of people behind every author that makes it happen, So it's important. It's key. So yes. Let's discuss. Let's see what's happening. What else is happening in the M&S World? So Law Students is done and has a whole bunch of reviews. So thank you. You guys are awesome. I don't even know how to explain how awesome you guys are. So there used to be a time, and every beginning author knows how difficult this is. In the beginning, when you're starting out and no one knows who you are, you need reviews. And some of the hardest things to get are reviews, right? So you do a lot of cold emails, a lot of cold calls, in a sense, where you say, hey, I'd like to send you my book. Would you, it would be great if you could read it and then, give me an honest review, right? So you do a lot of that. I did a lot of that in the beginning, even before Two Nerds and Butterflies. I was doing a lot of that. And so, it takes time to develop that. And so now, when a book drops or when a book launches, I don't really push reviews as much. If you go back to the early days of the MoB, you'll see, come on, guys, don't forget to leave your reviews. And you guys got this, the reviews help because they're social proof. You don't really see many of those posts anymore because the reviews just come right in and they pour in, and that's mostly because you guys are fantastic. So I want to thank you all for the reviews on Lost Runes and the reviews on Nocturnality. I know Lost Runes has like 500 something, and Nocturne has about 200 something, which is amazing because Nocturne, it's been a while, and Nocturne, okay, honestly, no other series is as popular as Monty and Strong. Monty and Strong, and Dolly's not here because since she'd roll her eyes right about now and go, yes, the engine, the trunk of the tree, because I always go back to that, right? But yeah, Monty and Strong is the engine, and everything comes out from there. Everything is the trunk of the tree, so everything branches out from there. So I can understand why it has all those reviews, right? I'm still trying to catch up to Paulo Coelho, who has on The Alchemist, uh, he has like 30,000 or 90,000. He has some crazy number of reviews. So I think I can reach that in the next 20, 30 years, maybe. Let's see. Zaj Alam. Yeah, I can always send you books. That's good. Dan, welcome. Mr. Awesome. I've slowly hobbled my quiet corner and plugged in. What's cooking? Everything's cooking. I'm cooking. It's getting nice and warm out. Oh, let's see. I don't know who you are, Facebook user, but it's a good question. If you write for a niche genre, who do you want to review besides readers? You don't. So, okay, it all depends where you're going to put your books, right? If you put your books on Amazon, like most of us do because Amazon is the 800-pound gorilla, right? If you put your book on Amazon and you get reviews from other readers who don't normally read what you write because it's a niche genre, your books that are similar that will populate the rest of your page may not be what you want. So you have to be really careful about who gives you reviews. You really just want your readers to give you reviews. Now, here's the other thing. If you write, period, as an author, other authors, I don't know if this is recent, but at least as far as a year ago, other authors can't leave you reviews because it seems like then you're gaming the system. Like, I'm an author, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. And so if you're an author and you leave another author a review, it could get flagged and then removed because it seems like you could be exchanging reviews. And Amazon, a while back, not so much now, but a while back, that was a big deal about trying to game the system. So you have to be really careful if you're going to leave a review for anyone. And just, that's why you hardly ever see me leave reviews. Even though I love the books, and I'll usually just tell the author directly, your book is awesome. I won't leave reviews because the few times that I did way back, Amazon was like, you can't leave a review. They say you know this person, so you can't leave a review. And I'm like, huh? So it's a strange logic that they have with their programming and their algorithm, and if somewhere ties between you and that author, and you leave them a review or they leave you a review, it starts looking funky to them, and so they can remove your review or they'll remove their review. So I just said, for me, to avoid that whole situation, I'll just tell the author directly, listen, the book was awesome, and I'm going to promote it in the MoB. So that way, the review that I didn't leave them, hopefully other readers will read the book and they'll leave them reviews, But it's really important so I don't leave written reviews, but I do leave stars. So when I read a book that's awesome, I'll leave stars. I'll leave like 4 or 5 stars because I can't write the review as much because I think I have so many books on Amazon, you kind of stand out. So I don't know. I have to look into see if that's still a recent thing, if Amazon is still kind of picky with that kind of thing. But yeah, that happened a few times, and it happened to a few other authors a few times. And what they said was that they got an email saying that you can't leave a review for a person that you know because it seems like you're trying to game the review system. And they're really picky about the reviews because the reviews, as you guys know, provide social proof, and they can influence other people to buy or not buy a product. And so your book on Amazon is considered a product. And if it looks like you're gamifying it and making people review your books, then these people all know you like really well, and then they're fellow authors, then it looks like you're trading reviews. So it's just weird. So it happened a while ago. I have to check to see if that's still a recent thing. But I know that was a prevalent thing a while back. Yeah, I was in. Yeah, Chris is right. 2018 when it happened. So I don't know if it's still the case, but I'm a little gun shy about leaving written reviews. But I do start everything that I read because even the stars help with the social proof. If they got a lot of stars and they're up in the 4 point something, 5 point something, or 5.0 or high fours, then it's worth it because it also creates that social proof. As long as I've read the book, I'll leave the review. Hello, Connie. Welcome. You're not late. You're here. That's what's important. Yeah, you can leave reviews only for. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing that Amazon makes it so you can't leave a review unless you purchase a certain amount. I think it's like when I checked last, it was like $50 or something like that. It didn't have to be all books. I'm not gonna buy $50. Well, wait a minute. Let me backtrack that. Most of us will buy $50 in books. I know I will. But you have to purchase $50 worth of anything on Amazon before they allow you to leave a review. So that's, I guess, another way, kind of like they gatekeep it. So they say, hey, this person has bought things on Amazon, so yeah, they can leave a review, So things like that. And that's just them, again, because this is a big deal way back, that's just them finding a way to deal with people leaving fake reviews, I guess, or trying to get, buy reviews. There was a time when people would buy reviews and then put them up, and then you'd pay people and they would put reviews up, but they weren't real reviews. So that was an issue back then, but around 2018, as Chris has said. Okay. Yeah, don't buy reviews, please. I don't want you to get in trouble, and I don't want your account getting closed, because that would be a bad thing. The best way to get your reviews is to write awesome books. That's it. And then ask for honest reviews. Always ask, if you're an author, always ask for honest reviews. We've always said it. I've said it here. I've said it in MoB. The reviews aren't for the author. So the first thing I tell every writer, every author that's starting, you as an author have to have rhino skin, TM, no TM in the corner of that. Why? Because you can't take these things personal. So when you start reading reviews and they're not as flattering as you'd like them to be, to put it nicely, you can't take it personal, because the review's not for you. The review's for other readers, and the review is that person's opinion. And as we all know, everyone has their own opinions. If you ever feel, if you're an author or a writer and you have books on Amazon, if you ever feel sad or depressed about your 1, 2, or 3-star reviews that are scathing, go find someone really well known. Go find Stephen King. Go find Jim Butcher. Someone who you know is well known, and then go read their 1-star reviews. Everyone has 1-star reviews. Don't take it personally. It's just part. It's part of this journey. Okay, so this is the way it is. Let's see. All right, so I think at this point now, we can discuss Lost Runes a bit more, right? I hope everyone has read Lost Runes by now. Oh, I misread that, Chris. I thought you said I like buying reviews, and it's like, yes, like buying reviews. I got it. That's why I wear these things. So maybe I need to get the prescription checked. Really. So you guys have any questions about Lost Runes? That's anything that kind of, I don't know, is hanging for you? Because I'm addressing a lot of things in Archmage. But, these things happen. Sometimes, there are questions that come up. Or does it seem resolved? Well, it can't be resolved because Lost Runes did not end. It didn't end on a cliffhanger or a hill hugger, but it didn't end completely resolved either. I will tell you where the guys are, the Temple Trio, the trio of destruction. They are currently in the Foundry, and 1 billion internet points to whoever remembers the last time the Foundry was mentioned. And cue in the Jeopardy music. Yeah, I was hoping that. Okay, I try not to cliffhang any books. You guys know that, and sometimes I will apologize for if the book is a little bit cliffhung, I guess. But I try not to leave cliffhangers because I don't like cliffhangers personally as a reader, right? I'll understand it when it's part of a series that cliffhangers will happen. It does. Sometimes as an author, you face this really hard choice. Like the book is almost done and you could continue to resolve certain things, or you can leave those things open for the next book because you know it's a series and so you're going to continue it. But I always try to make each book self-contained as to the conflict that's in that particular book while leaving the overarching dilemma open, and it continues, right? So let's see. When Dex almost killed Strong, nope. I'm gonna say nope. The Foundry? No, not when Dex almost killed Strong. Not the Foundry. It's someone else that's at the Foundry. You guys have to go back. Paige, you're part of the wiki. You should know this. So we need to update the Montague treatment to the Montague stride after this last book with the Night Warden. that's a good one. Yeah. I don't know if I left you hanging, Marie. I kind of prepped you guys, letting you know that Lost Runes, Archmage, and Entropy, which is the next book, are a mini arc within the bigger arc of books, right? So it all comes to a head in Entropy for the last 3 books. So Lost Runes leads to Archmage, which leads to Entropy, and a big, big, big fight there. The Montague Stride sounds really fun, though. The Montague Stride. I kind of like the Montague treatment, though, especially if Cecil's using it, or Cecil, if we're going to be proper about it. If he's using the title, the Montague treatment, or the Montague package, or I was reading recently the Lumps, which is the Lamborghini Urus, Montague, Peaches, and Simon package. So he called it the Lumps, which is, that's pretty fun too. So yeah, while you guys look up where the Foundry showed up last, that's where the guys are now. They're in the Foundry. And which means I need to brush up on French. That's like the clue of all clues. If you guys don't remember that, geez. Can you really call yourselves a Monty and Strong reader? Really? Really? The last Night Warden book. Any thoughts on that one? Because that one was really fun to write. Let's see. Not a specific critique of your stories, but I see many UF stories where the writer focuses on the chase or task leading to the conclusion, and then the end is sometimes quick and anticlimactic. I try to avoid that. It has happened to me a few times, I think, at least personally, and then those are the ones that I hear readers tell me that was the right way to end the book. I try to avoid that because sometimes it's so much build up and then it just ends. And so I try to make the endings, like the last fights or the last situations, really engaging. Obviously, they can't be as long as the build-up, but they need to be satisfying and they need to provide us a resolution. And I also try to have a kind of, at the end of the story, after the fight, another small resolution, which leads into the next story, So, but yeah, I don't know who that Facebook user is, but that's a great situation where it's a great comment, because there have been times when I've wrapped up a fight and I say, man, this is too short. I've gotta make this longer, because then it seems so sudden. And so I don't want to ever have it where there's this huge buildup and then it's just a cliff and you drop off. And so the actual resolution to that buildup needs to be satisfying, So, well, if you know French, then you know where the Foundry is and who's in the Foundry and when was the last time the guys were in the Foundry. I've given it away. That's like the clue of all clues. Yeah, Chris, I enjoyed the journey with the Turbo Trio too. It's been a lot of fun. Yeah. I don't know when that journey is going to end. I'm trying to get Z to start writing, because then she can write after me and that'll be good. I can just take a break and let her write some stories. I don't know if the other ones want to write, and she seems to be the one that's most interested in it. So, oh, Jim Hickey, yeah, you see a name displayed, but I don't see a name displayed. Jim, that's a great comment, and unfortunately, I've seen it happen in a lot of stories that I've read. So that's why I try to avoid it, because as a reader, it seems a little dissatisfying. You know, you kind of leave the book with, yeah, it was a great story, but that last part could have been longer, or they could have, you know, it could have happened. It could have drawn it out a little bit more. So you kind of, it's a double-edged sword, right? Because if you make it too long, it drags, right? And if you make it too short, it feels too short. So you kind of have to find this mid ground where you resolve the situation and yet you leave the reader wanting more without feeling like it just can't, it's just a quick resolution, you know? Also, you want to avoid that deus ex machina situation where the heroes or the protagonists are saved by something that makes absolutely no sense. Like, let's see, for example, Monty, Simon, and Peaches are fighting something, and Ezra walks in and saves them. That would be a bad ending. Not that you guys would let me get away with something like that, but that would be a bad ending, you know? Yeah, that's definitely a StreamYard thing, Chris. I can't, Jim, I get it. I can't see your name, but I get that it's you. So thank you for that statement. Because it's something, I'll tell you what it is from this side, from the author's side. You as an author invest so much energy in the chase and the build-up and the climax and all this other stuff. By the time you get to the end, I'm going to put this up so people can, again, click on it and let StreamYard know your name. By the time you get to the end part, or the last, as they call the last act, or the resolution, the denouement, whatever you want to call it, right? The ending, the resolution. One, a lot of authors are just mentally exhausted by that time and they just want to wrap it up. That's one. Two, a lot of authors just don't know how to wrap it up, and so they do the thing that comes to them first, and they just wrap it up that way. Or a lot of authors just feel I can't make it much longer because the buildup was so long that by the time I get to this part here, it's too long, and so they give this abbreviated ending. And so there are a lot of things that you run into as an author. But yes, I agree. It can't be this anticlimactic thing because it's going to feel, the readers feel cheated. That's what it comes down to. Bye, Marie. Have a great rest of your weekend. Thank you so much for dropping in. That is a literal deus ex machina if Ezra comes in to save the day. Yeah, that would be, how would you rank that? That would be almost like trying to hurt Peaches permanently. That it would be so bad to have Ezra come in and save him. First of all, because it's, so you have to understand, more ex machina. True, Anthony. But you have to understand, Ezra's been very much hands off throughout the story. So to have him come in and all of a sudden now save any of them, so you have to know your characters, and so that would be playing against who the character is. And it would be what they call a cop out. As an author, that's you taking the easy way out, and the reader sees that right away. The reader picks up and then goes, "Hey, Ezra never did this before. You know how many times he could have saved them? Why now?" And so it becomes an issue. So you don't ever want to do something like that, and you should know your characters so well, which I love because sometimes I get emails. I do, where I get told Simon would never say that, or Monty wouldn't do this, and this character wouldn't do that. I'm like, really? Oh, okay. Thank you for letting me know that the characters I created wouldn't do what I'm having them do. That's awesome. And so you have to know your characters and stay true to who they are and what they would do in the story. I'm taking up the StreamYard thing just in case. Kind of like the show Wednesday, where there was a big buildup of fire and rain and big and scary, and it kind of futzed out with a few stabs. Very little snark. Yeah, Enid and the Hyde fight was yeah, that was more interesting. Yeah. I don't know who you are, Facebook user, but thank you. Yes, the beard is filling in really well. It feels fuzzy now. It doesn't feel like I want to scratch my face with sandpaper. doesn't feel like that anymore. It's nice and fuzzy, and I'm trying to take care of it with my brush, which is nice. And I'll see how I go through the summer because I've never gone through a summer with a beard. This is my first time, so this should be interesting. We'll see how. Oh, hey Glenn, welcome. So we'll see how I get through the summer with a beard if I don't just rip it off from the heat. Listen. And thank you for making it, Glenn. So yeah, um, endings. Endings are hard, guys. As an author, I can tell you, endings are hard. Let's see. When you start a story, the what I can suggest the best as a strategy for writing a story is write the ending as soon as you can. It may not be the ending you end up with in terms of the book or the story, but write the ending because it gives you somewhere to go, like a target to aim for, right? It doesn't leave it open-ended. But endings are hard because here's the thing. How do I describe this? It's like a spider web, right? There's all these strands. And you've got to start tying off the skein of things, right? Or the skein of all these strands have to kind of, haha, Paige, you got it. So all these strands have to be tied off, right? And at the ending, as an author, you've got to make sure that nothing's too dangling out there because trust me, readers will know. So yes, it's very, very important that the ending ties off everything that needs to be tied off, but leave some things loose if you want to continue the series, right? Yeah. So I'll tell you my experience with endings. If I'm reading a book, periodically what I do is I check how far I am in the book in relation to the story that I'm reading. And if I see that there's too much unresolved and I'm near the end of the book, I start getting upset because now I realize at this point my reader brain knows there's more book. There needs to be more books somewhere. And what happens is that means that there's another book coming that hasn't been written yet. And I've already read almost all of this, and there's like maybe a chapter left, and there's so much more to go. Something's not right here. So yeah, it has happened to me. So I always try to make sure that if a book is part of a series, I go in with that mindset. Oh, it's not done yet. There's a series. There's another book coming. Got it. You know. Yes. So Paige, Blood is Thicker. You are absolutely correct. So Blood is Thicker was book 3, and we're going back in book 20. So it's been 17 books since we've last been there. Things have changed. Yeah. Dan says disposable investment is the hardest. Yes, you know you're creating something people are going to root for, cheer for, but only you know the ultimate fate, like in Nocturne. Yeah, that is hard because I want to tell you guys, but I have to. So okay, when I wrote Two Birds and Butterflies, way back, right? We're going back a while, right? 2016, 2017, 2017. The way I introduced Monty and Strong was a little different than other authors, right? You kind of went in and you hit the ground running. There was no who is Monty, who is Simon, who are these people? It was like you walk in the first scene, they're chasing a werewolf. And so what I wanted to do with the book and the series is that I wanted you to kind of get to know who Monty and Simon are organically over time. The way you get to meet real people, like when you meet someone, they don't hand you a resume and say, this is who I am. No, you have conversations, you talk, you have dinner, have some coffee, and gradually over time you get to know who they are as people, right, in different situations. And that's what I wanted to do with Monty and Strong. The difficulty with that is how to do that in such a way without info dumps, but yet also revealing enough of the characters so that you feel connected to them. So they don't feel like, I don't know who Monty is or I don't know who Simon is. By this time, if you get into book 17, 18, 19, 20, you know who they are and you know how they would react and you know kind of what they would say. So but that has to happen over a long trajectory, you know. So yeah, that's the only thing. I'll get to that in a moment, Paige, because that's a interesting point too. But I'm gonna see. Let's see. Chris says, I hate that feeling when there's not enough book left to read. Yeah, oh my god, I hate that feeling, especially when it's a story that I'm really into and I'm reading it and I'm devouring it. I'm like, oh, then I start the alarms start going off because I'm going fast. I'm reading it and then I'm realizing, wait a minute, there's not much book left. What's going on? Because there's still so much story left. Then I realized, oh, there's gonna have to be another book. More books and comments from the peanut gallery of the characters in your head. Yes, true. The how much to go in pages versus unresolved issues is getting very fuzzy because authors, including chapters of upcoming books, sometimes there's 20% of book showing, but the book ends. Yes. So kind of what Paige said, what so much back matter. I used to include the first chapter of the next book in all my books. I don't know where I stopped it. I know I stopped it at some point. That was another Amazon thing because they were accusing authors of padding books, right? And that's okay. I'm not even going to get involved with that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting the first chapter of the next book. It's not an issue for me. I always have the first chapter of the next book because my brain, I already have what the story's going to be. But then I started reading other books where it wasn't the first chapter. It was the first chapter and a dossier and the city and all of this. And I was like, okay, this is not relevant to the story that I'm in. This is just more, this is like stuff that you're giving me. And I'd rather get that stuff as being on a web page or maybe a newsletter. Like, hey, did you know that Monty is from such and such neighborhood? I bet you didn't know. And then put that in a newsletter. I think that's where it belongs. I don't think it belongs in the book so much because it distracts from the story. So I'm writing a lot of bonus content, and the bonus content is going to be given to people from the newsletter. It's not going to be put in books. It's going to be put as part of, involving readers in the world more, but not through the books per se, but more as, hey, you subscribe to my newsletter? Here's some bonus content. This is an author interview because the author interview is a lot of fun. The character interviews are a lot of fun. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, the last interview that they had were in the cafe, but like a lot of you have said, so much has changed since that cafe interview, right? So what I'm going to do, here's an idea for you guys so you guys understand what's happening. Each book gets an interview. So Two Reds and Butterflies is going to have a character interview. Full Moon How is going to have a character interview. It's going to be like, okay, so what did you guys think about, what you did in this book? And, Simon will go like, werewolves. We dealt with werewolves, things like that. So, but that doesn't need to be in a book exactly. That could be part of a newsletter. It could be part of an email, things like that. So that's what I'm going to be doing with that. But yes, to Paige's comment, too much back matter is distracting. And it also does what that other person was saying, that it makes it fuzzy because you think there's 20% more to go. And it's like, this isn't book. This is just stuff. And so you get upset because it feels like filler. So that's why I stopped even doing the first chapter of the next book. Because even the first chapter of the next book is good because you get to see the story continues this way. And now I'm anticipating that. But I took that out because it was creating issues. So yeah. Epilogues are great. I try to include epilogues in all the stories, very short ones. Like, okay, when Monty, for a very short moment, became the Harbinger. That's an epilogue of sorts, right? And what was different about that one is that one was written in third person, which is very unlike Monty's strong stories, right? But I needed to include that because the situation with Albert wasn't resolved, and it needed to be resolved. And the way to resolve it was to have Monty resolve instead of Dex. Dex would have been too obvious. It's so much of an on-the-nose thing. Dex goes as a Harbinger and eliminate Albert and the story. That's too easy. So having Monty become the Harbinger, take on the mantle of the Harbinger, and then going with Gray, of all people, to go finish Albert and deal with that situation, and then go to the Black Forest, which doesn't come into play until, yikes, I don't know what book that is, like book 30-something is set in the Black Forest, I think. Is it book 30-something? You see me, I'm looking at the schedule. I want to say book 30 something. Yeah, we actually go to the Black Forest. Things like that. That's an epilogue of sorts, right? It's like you fade out in the story, then you fade in, and you see Monty and Gray walking in the Black Forest, heading to this small house where Albert is kind of like hiding out. That's cool. That's awesome. You know. All right. Like Audrey says, yeah, it's like meeting a new friend. So I wanted Monty and Simon to be like new friends for everyone. I not by now they're old friends, right? But I wanted them to be a new friend. Like if you open Two Nerds and Butterflies, and I have a copy around here somewhere. Here we go. So if you open a copy of Two Nerds and Butterflies, in the first chapter, what's more exciting than chasing a rabbit werewolf in the middle of the night? Chasing that rabbit werewolf in downtown Manhattan in the middle of the night. And that's how it opens. So you're already, you're running down the city, downtown Manhattan, in the middle of the night, chasing a rabid werewolf. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. I like the way that starts, you know? All right, let's see. I don't know who says that's a great policy, but yes, I will keep that policy. And Jim, I've done that too. I've done where there's the first chapter of the next book in the current story, and I won't read it. But that's also because I have the next book, so I'll just read the next book. But I try not to do that because it's not finished. So I'm going to read the next chapter, and then I'm going to be like, all right, where's the rest of the book? So I try not to do that. This person page is saying this person has endless lists of her books, 60 plus. That's a long list, yeah. Snips of companion series, etc. Several chapters worth of not. I can't do that. I'd rather, honestly, I get that it's a lot of content. I wouldn't do that to my readers though, because, like for what I've said previously, I think I want to. For me, it's more about respecting my readers' time and their commitment to the series and to what I'm writing. That I wouldn't kind of just put fluff. I would consider it fluff. It's not fluff, but it's not the story. And most of my readers, not all of them, open a book for the story. All the other stuff they can get that's extra, we could be in the mob and ask a question, I'll answer it. It could be here and I can answer it, but not in the story. The story is kind of like, this is where it happens. And then everything else is, backstory or, side information. All right, so let's continue. Talking of bonus content, you certainly kept Iker under your cap. Yeah, Iker 2 was, I'll tell you the story. It's a really interesting story. I think I shared it with Chris. Okay, I already had the cover done, and I had the outline ready, and I was already in the process of developing it. And then all of a sudden, and I hadn't said anything to anyone, not even Dolly. All of a sudden, I'm getting all these requests for the next Iker story. And I don't know if I put this out in the ether or whatever the case may be, but I started getting a lot of requests for Iker. When is the next Iker story coming out? And it happens every so often, like, people will say, hey, when's the next Bug story? But Bug is kind of complete in the trilogy right now, right? So she can wait, Bug and Porter can wait. But Iker was just a standalone short story, and I was like, that story needs to continue, kind of left it hanging, right? Don't say anything. So I kind of got it, ready, and all of a sudden it started happening where people start asking, when readers start asking, I said, okay, I have the next Iker story. I'm writing it. It's happening. Just, give me a few weeks and it'll be done. So I'm like at 10K now. It's only a 12K story, but wow, this last 2K has been a lot of fun. Newsflash, Michigo's in that story too. Okay, and Biako, so it's gonna be a lot of fun. Most famous non-story content is Lord of the Rings appendices. Yeah, the Silmarillion, the appendices of the Silmarillion, if you've ever read that, wow. Yeah. Tolkien was amazing. The appendices of the Lord of the Rings and the Silmarillion, it's like, those are books unto themselves. It's incredible. I gotta start getting to the questions. I don't think there are many, but I still have to get to them soon. Someone said a Peaches and Frank interview. Yeah, later on, definitely a Peaches and Frank interview. Yes. I think an epilogue is great and part of the story, but filler is bad. Yeah. I don't do filler. I don't do filler books. I don't do filler chapters. Everything that I write, when I write it, progresses the story. It may not seem like it in the moment, but it progresses the story, and you'll realize it later on. Yeah. I like when people do the first chapter of the first book in one of the other series. Sometimes it gives you your, yes. In the beginning, that's why I was saying, in the beginning I was doing that because I was unknown and people wanted to know what else I was working on, and I would do that. But as the readership has grown. I've gotten a lot of comments from readers who said, could you please not do that, because I'm already waiting for the next book. And now you give me the first chapter, and that just makes my anticipation worse. And so I don't want to torture you that bad. I'm already causing sleepless nights, and that's okay. I'm sorry, not sorry. But I don't want to have readers, again, because I'm a reader. I know what it's like. I'm waiting for Will White to finish his series, because on book 12, I'm waiting for book 13. It's supposed to come out in June. And I was upset when the last book ended, because I thought it was the last book of the series, and it wasn't. So yeah, that got me upset. And it's good. It's a really good series. If you haven't read Will White, Nicole Grotepas turned me on to this series. It's a really good series, so you should read it. Yes. Oh yes, with the series already complete. If the series is complete, I can give it a pass, because then it's very easy for me to get the next book. If the series is not complete, I might be upset. Yeah, just upset as a reader, because I want the story. I want to read the continuation, and so now I gotta wait however long it takes for the author to finish. I mean, I feel for people who have been here since Tomb Yards and Butterflies, because you imagine we're on book 20, so you had to wait book 1, 2, all the way to now. Someone who comes into Tomb Yards and Butterflies right now is going to see, just in Tomb Yards and Butterflies, they're going to see 19 books finished. I would love to find a series that I can get into that has 19 books done, because yeah, that's like perfect. As a kind of reader I am. 19 books, the series has 19, and they're all complete. Oh yeah, and there's offshoots that I can read too. Oh, let's go. I'm ready. So, but for those of you who have been here since the beginning, my hat is off to you, because wow, that is hard to do. You actually had to wait, as I wrote, Tomb Yards, then Full Moon Howl, then Blood Sticker, and so forth and so on. Yes, the Cradle Book series, Glenn. I'm waiting for the last one. I already pre-ordered it. I'm waiting, and I thought the previous one was the last one, and it's not. And I was upset when I finished it, because it happened to me. I was getting to the end of the book, and there was more story than there was book, and I realized, yeah. Hi, Carrie. Your name wasn't coming up. Yeah. Oh, Dan, the man is coming back. Well, let me tell you. Hold on. I will tell you. Oh, he's not coming back for, let's see. We're on 20. Entropy is 21. Corpse is 22. Immortal is 23. Resolution is 24. Mortal is 25. Outcast 26. Schubert is 27. Saints of Month 28. Major Monster 29. Deadeye is 30. Nemesis 31. Chaos Rising 32. 32. He's not coming back until like 26 or 7. The name of that book is called Mortal. That's all I can tell you. I'm not gonna say any more than that. But yeah, so the man doesn't show up until for another, I want to say 7 books, around there. So soon though, it's better than like 17 books. Yeah, Glenn. I've gotten emails with some of the names I've been called, especially the ones where I was only going to read a chapter, and then because I had to go to work the next day, and trust me, I've been guilty of this too. Like, I'm just going to read a chapter. 3 hours later, 8 hours later, I'm still like, done. I'm reading, Especially, okay, with the Cradle series, I got the first book because Nicole said, go get that book. It's really good. Book has 12 books. The series has 12 books. I got the whole series. I was like, yeah. So here I am reading the first book. I got to get up early the next day. I get up around 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning to train. And all of a sudden, it's like, I look outside and it's getting light. I'm like, oh, I got to go train now. And I'm tired. So, the names I called Will, I should send him an email. So, yeah. I got some emails myself with some other colorful names. So many sleepless nights with some of these authors that came up. Same thing with Jim Butcher. Oh my God, when he released those last 2 books, I'm not even gonna tell you, but it was like I finished those books in one sitting. It's crazy. Not UF. My favorite series, 21 books, is Patrick O'Brien's Aubrey Maturin stories. I have to look it up now. Thanks, Jim. My TBR just gets bigger and bigger with you guys. Thank you. I just started listening to Demon Accords. Oh, okay. Awesome. I've been totally responsible for many sleepless. Yeah. I'm sorry. Not sorry. You know, every author loves to hear, oh, I didn't get to sleep because of your story. There's no author that's going to be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'll try to write more boring material later. That's not gonna happen ever. All right, let me get to the questions. Hold on, because there are questions, and I want to address them because people go out of their way to write the questions, and that's really important. So let me address the questions while we have like 10 minutes left. Okay, Audrey, thank you, Audrey. Your questions are awesome. I think you're on a streak at this point, Audrey. I think every Kaffeeklatsch has had questions from Audrey at this point. Don't break that streak, Audrey. It's gonna be like amazing when we hit. Okay, when we hit episode 100, I'm gonna see how many episodes have questions from Audrey, because I think almost every episode has questions from Audrey. As far as questions have been available, every Kaffeeklatsch has had questions from Audrey. Okay, question from Audrey. Orlando, if you could be the lead singer of a well-known band, who would you be? I'm old, Audrey, so that depends on how well known. So if I could be the lead singer, I'd be the lead singer of The Police. I'd be the lead singer of Led Zeppelin. I'd be the lead singer of the Beatles. I mean, it varies. I mean, I'd be the lead singer of Linkin Park, although we lost Chester, which is really, really sad. There's a lot of bands I want to be the lead singer of because the music is so amazing. I'm not that well. I don't know the more recent things now, but because I'm ancient, so I go back to where bands filled arenas and filled stadiums. So I don't know any bands of this era, if there are even bands, So and it's the music I grew up with. I grew up with like Kiss. I grew up with Metallica. I grew up with most of Motown. So my music taste and my music interests are so diverse that I couldn't really say one band. It's just what makes up my music identity is just a mix of everything. And then that's not even talking about the culture influences, since I'm Latin, and then flamenco and merengue and salsa. There's a whole bunch of things. So Tito Puente had a fantastic band that I could have played trumpet and would have been nice. Yeah. So there's it's a great question. I just can't nail it down to one. Sorry, Audrey. Okay. Question for Dolly. She's not here. So, what unsolicited advice do you always feel compelled to offer? Edit. This doesn't mean you would actually do offer it. I can't answer that one for her because she doesn't offer me unsolicited advice. But I'm going to leave this question for the next Kaffeeklatsch. So when she's here, she can answer for you, Audrey. Okay? Orlando, is there someone in your life that screwed you over and now you're thankful to them? Yeah, the first boss that fired me because he said, this were his words. You're overqualified for this position. I need to let you go. And in the moment, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. But over time, I realized the wisdom to that. Where it's like, and that's what spurred me to start my own businesses. Like he says, you can't work for anyone. You gotta go. I gotta let you go. You gotta do your own thing. And the time I didn't understand it. I really didn't because I was too young and I was too immature. I didn't get it. I thought it was a bit vindictive thing. Over time, because then I left that job with a I'm gonna show him attitude, and I did. And then later on, I understood, and I actually spoke to him much later on. I'm talking decades later, and I was able to say thank you. But it was more he saw the potential that was there, and he said, "You need to go." It was kind of like the eagle and the eaglet, and kick him out of the nest so he can fly. That's what it was. So he didn't screw me over, although I felt that he did at the time. But I'm very thankful for him for firing me and saying, you got to go do your own thing. Get out of here. You're wasting your time and your potential here. Out. Okay, Chris, what hobbies do you have besides reading? Thank you for the question. Chris, let's see. I have so many hobbies, but right now, everything is diverted to, the one hobby that I just still do is I play Destiny, or I'll play Ragnarok, God of War, or Sniper Elite 5 right now currently. So I'm a gamer. I've always been a gamer. I've been a gamer since before consoles existed. I used to play on the Atari 2600, the Commodore 64. So my first real adventure game was Zork, if that gives you any indication of how far I go back with games. So that's my other hobby. And actually, it's a good distraction from the writing because it lets me kind of give my brain a break from the writing. And those are the questions for this week. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome. I'm back. Yeah. ZZ Top. Do you know how much beard I need to lead ZZ Top? You gotta be kidding me. Nah. But if they would lend me their car, that would be awesome. Yeah, Alistair Stone. So I read the first one. I read that in one sitting because it was that good. R.L. King is fantastic. He's a great writer. And I stayed away from the rest of the series because I know me. So I own the series. I just haven't read it. So I'll buy all the books. I'll get them. They're in my library. I won't open them up because I know if I open the first chapter, I know I will just start reading the rest of the book. And before you know it, it's sunrise. And I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. I gotta get up. Let's see what else. So I like good music, not just a genre. Yes, I love, I grew up on rock and roll. I grew up on real old rock and roll. My dad listened to it. I listened to it. Yeah, I grew up on a lot of different kind of music. Not any specific genre, just really good music. Music with like musicians that actually had the talent to play instruments, that kind of music. So yes. So that's what I grew up on. I mean, I bought the first Kiss album when it came out. I had it on vinyl. I had it. And I think I played it so many times, the grooves, it melted into one big groove. So it's things like that. All right. Chris is telling me it is time to promote our authors. So let's go. And yes, Anthony Hudson, Zork, it was all text on the screen. There was no animation, no nothing. You had to read the adventure. It was amazing. Mary Beth, thank you for being here. Have a great weekend. All right, let me promote our authors because this is awesome. All right, here we go. Our first author is Ben Zackheim, Unholy Deuce, Amelia and Ichabod from Duo, Delta Underground Operatives. Here's the link. Please go there. You know what I always say, we support our indie, so please go support Ben. Our next, and all these links will be up in the mob at the end of the show. If you could be so kind, Chris, to put them up. Kimbra, Walking Wind is live. Go get Kimbra's book. That's the reader link, please. Go grab it, and let's support Kimbra. She has a whole bunch of books, so go get this one, please. Thank you, Glenn, for the mug. So this is, this is the original Iron Man. I don't know if you guys can see it. Before he was red and yellow, he was gray and yellow. So it goes way, way back, this one. So this is one of those. This was gifted to me by my sister-in-law. Okay. All right. Nicole Grotepas, N.A. Grotepas. I hope I'm pronouncing that and not mangling it. Halo of Light, Sin and Ghee. I'm guessing that's Ghee. Book one also in the Delta Underground Operatives. So a little back on the Delta Underground Operatives. It's a shared world with many authors, and they're all writing in this world. So again, there's a link. You know what we do. We go get the link, we get the book, we support our indies, all right? Grave Crusade, which is Gravedigger Book 5 by John P. Logson, is out. So I don't know if he's going to continue writing. I think he will. I guess it'll depend on the reader demand as well, if he's going to continue writing in the Grave series. But it's already at 5 books. So guys, if you haven't gotten the other 4, grab the other 4 and get this one too. It's out. It's live. Grab it, please. Rick Gualtieri and Rachel Carr. You got to see the cover on this book is a lot of fun too. It's Deviant Dark Dryads, a fantasy adventure, False Icons Book 4. So get the other 3 books and then get this one. It'll be a lot of fun. I haven't read it, but I own it. So go grab it, okay? Like I said, we support our indies. Stephanie Fox, A Heart of Fire, Dragon Prince's mate. So you guys know who Stephanie is? Alex Steele and Stephanie Fox, or Foxy Steele or Steely Fox, depending on how you want to combine the two. They're a couple great writers. I've known them for a long time, so please grab their book. Here's the link. It's not a reader link, but you know, it's still a link. Go get it. Okay. Let's see who's this. Oh, M.M. Crumley. So this is the Doc Holliday series on book 12. I think she has pre-orders up till book 14. So if you haven't read the other ones, get book 1 through 12, and then pre-order 13 and 14. Really good character. It's the immortal Doc Holliday. So Doc Holliday is immortal. And again, I started reading the first book and I put it to the side because I had deadlines to hit. And so it's another series I'm staying away from because it's well written. So grab it and support our indies. Do we have anyone else? Oh, this famous person. Chris Chrisman, Wild Magic. Here's his link. Grab this book. I think the third part of this is Old Magic, which is coming soon. TM. So grab this. Grab the first one, grab the second one, and the third one is coming soon this year. Right? So go get it, please. Paige says that Walking Wind was interesting from Kimbra. It's very different from her usual writing. Okay, awesome. Internet just fritzed. So have I played Forspoken yet? No, I don't have a PS5. One of the reasons why I don't have a PS5 is because I've stayed away from gaming a bit. Because again, I played a lot of Destiny, and if I'm playing Destiny, I'm not writing. So I got to balance that out. I don't want to do just Destiny and not write. And right now, as of a few days ago, my workload has exploded. So I don't have a lot of time to devote to gaming. So I have to kind of scale back the gaming and scale up the infrastructure writing. So it's called adulting for a reason, right? So you got to just do it. So Paige says thinks it's going to be 7 in the Grave series. That's awesome. So we're at book 5, and there might be 2 more books. So please get the Grave series. It's a lot of fun, and it's John Logson. So you already know what to expect. I collaborated. I wrote books with him, so I kind of know what's coming. Let's see. Great hang. Dan, take care. It's always good to see you. All right. I still haven't seen John Wick 4, so I gotta get John Wick 4 done. So, but the awesome is strong there. All right. Chris says, mention please. Do not invite people to join. Oh, and send them. Okay, so here's something that's really important, guys. Okay. Don't invite people to join the mob. Just send them a link to the group so they can decide if they want to join. Invites are automatically denied. That's just to prevent difficulties later on. Okay, it's always been the policy. Invites are denied automatically. It's not even, the person didn't make a choice. So there's a reason why the group isn't public, because we want to maintain kind of the integrity of the group. And we don't want people invited into the group against their wishes. You know, that's not what the mob is. We're not trying to build numbers. If we wanted to build numbers, if we would go public, we'd have 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 people in the group already. That's not what it's about. The mob is a place where everyone is welcome. We're all safe here. We can be who we want to be. I mean, currently we're in Pun Central, which is fun, and it's okay. But if you want to be in the mob, if you want someone to be in the mob, don't invite them. Send them a link. Let them answer the questions, and then the mods will invite them. If that's not the way it's done, they won't be invited into the group. That's the policy, and I completely support the mods in that. So it is. So please be aware that if you want people to come into the mob, they're welcome. You just have to get in through the door and not sneak into a window. Okay? I'm glad you enjoyed them, Connie. Hey, Kimbra, yeah. I haven't read it. I own it, but I haven't read it. And I may not be able to read it for a while, but you know, I like to support my indie authors. So I'm glad you went according to Paige, you went in a whole different direction, so that's great. Wendy, thank you for being here. I'll try to remember the Montague stride. Send me a PM with the Montague stride. That would be so awesome. It could be a new dance. Have a great weekend, Renee. Thank you. Sorry you had net and screen issues, Heather, but you were here for most of the show, so that's awesome. Yeah, if Chris is saying this, we've been getting a lot of people invited. Again, I have no problem having people come into the mob. That's kind of what we're here for, right? But let's just let them in the door. Don't let them sneak in. Don't have people sneak in through the window. And And sometimes people have been invited when they didn't want to be invited. So again, we want people to be aware of that they want to be in the mob, they can just come in, answer the questions. The questions like super simple, but it lets the mods know who really wants to be part of the mob, you know? Okay. As usual, it's been fun. Yes, Glenn, thank you for being here. We're wrapping up really quickly. Jim, take care. Have a great rest of your weekend. Audrey, thank you for the questions and have a great weekend. Kimbra, thank you so much for being here. I want to thank all of you who've been here, and we're wrapping it up, so the show is almost done. I want to thank you all. Have a great rest of your day. If you're in someplace warm, get outside, touch some grass, enjoy the sun, and as always, be uncommon.